second grade. How are you today? We're going to be adding on to what we learned about shapes last week, and we are going to be breaking them up into parts today, which is super exciting. Let's go ahead and get our target ready, and then we're going to talk about the things that you're going to need to really dive into fractions this week. Let's go ahead and get those targets ready, and I can partition a circle and rectangle into two equal parts. Let's do that one more time, because there were a lot of words in there that made you go, huh? I can partition a circle and rectangle into two equal parts. Now, that first word, partition, I don't know if you noticed this, but there's a smaller word inside of it. That word, part. When we partition something, we break it up into parts. So when we say I can partition a circle and rectangle, that means we're going to be breaking them, those two shapes into equal parts. Partition. Into parts. Okay? We know what a circle is. Can you show me with your hands what a circle looks like? Absolutely. That circle is that never-ending curved line. I'm going to draw that circle up there. And what about our rectangles that we talked about last week with our shapes? Ooh, I like that. Look at those rectangles. Fantastic. We're going to be looking at those two shapes specifically. And I said two equal parts. So we're going to be diving into other equal parts later on this week. But our first one, we're going to be thinking about how we can put it into two. And when we say equal, what does that word mean? The same, okay? The same. And they're going to be the same size, right? When we have that equal sign, we mean it's the same on both sides. So when we have our equal parts, that means those parts are the same, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in. And I'm going to dive in by just showing you a shape. And I want you to tell me, what do you notice? What do you notice about this shape? It's a rectangle. Is it broken up at all? No, if it's not broken up, what do we say that it is? It is a whole. Everybody say that word, whole. Whole. It is not broken up. That word whole means together, not broken up. Now I'm going to do something wild and crazy, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to ask you again what you notice. Now what do you notice? And I can even draw a line on there to help you see where that is. What do you notice now? It's in smaller rectangles, okay? So if I were to fold it and show you that one part, how many smaller rectangles are they in? Two smaller rectangles. And what do you notice about those two smaller rectangles? They are the same. When I fold them or when I cut them, we're going to notice that there is not one side bigger than another. Now I'm going to have you go ahead and do the same thing. In front of you, if you are in the classroom, you have some rectangles to do this activity with. If you're at home, you want to grab a piece of either a piece of construction paper or even lined paper that you have at home, as long as it is a rectangle. Go ahead and grab those supplies right now and get ready. And I'll know you're ready when you have it on top of your workspace. Just have one rectangle with your thumb in front of your tummy. Awesome. I want you to go ahead and I want you to fold it this way first. So we're going to fold it like a hamburger, okay? Two fat rectangles. I'm seeing you folding it. Okay, hold that up for me as soon as you have it done. know that your rectangle has been divided or partitioned into two equal parts? They match when you fold them. Ooh, what if we were to take a piece of a pair of scissors and if we were to cut them? I want everybody to take a minute and I want you to cut it right down the middle, right on that line. In fact, I'm going to do the same thing while you're doing it. Snip, snip, snip. What do you notice about those two? I'm going to put, you see my little pieces of tape on there. When I stack them on top of each other, I can line them up and there's not one side hanging over. Nope. There's not one side smaller than the other. Nope. They're the exact same size. Is there another way we could fold our rectangle into two equal parts? You're going to need a couple papers for this one, guys. Is there another way we can fold our papers into our rectangles into two equal parts? Go ahead and do that now. And I'm going to come around and take a peek at what you're doing. Ooh, I'm seeing two different ways out there. Do you have two ways at home? I'd love for you to share your rectangle that you have. Let's take a peek at it. Is this folded the same way as the other? No. Is it two equal parts? Is this rectangle the same size as this rectangle? Let's see. If you did this one already, I want you to go ahead and cut it. If you didn't do this one already, I'd love for you to take your other rectangle and I want you to fold it like this and cut it down the middle. I'm seeing some faces of excitement. What did you notice? What happens when we cut them and line them up? They are the same size. They absolutely are. Is this a way to partition a rectangle into two equal parts? It is. All right, guys. You're holding on to these pieces, right? We don't want to not hold on to them. I'm going to tape them up as we do them. I did see one other person had a different way of making or dividing or partitioning this rectangle into two equal parts. Let's see. It's a tricky one. If you think this one is a way of showing two equal parts, put your thumb up. If you think it's not, put your thumb down in front of your tummy. How can we prove whether it's two equal parts or not? We can cut it. Let's take a peek. Let's cut on this on this line and see if it matches up. These are not two rectangles, are they? We've got two what? Two triangles. Oh, they don't match up like this. What are you doing? Oh, you folded them. You lined them up and just turned them a little bit, didn't you? And what do you notice? They are the same. Now you gotta make that cut really straight, don't you? But they are the same on both sides. So is this a way to divide our rectangle up into 2 equal parts? It is. Let's go ahead and tape that up. And you guys are going to hold on to these. You're going to need them again. You're going to need them again. Put this up like this. And then our bottom one. Let's take a peek back at our target. What is it asking us to do? It's asking us to partition not just rectangles. We did that, didn't we? But it's also asking us to partition circles. Circles are a little tricky. So in front of you, you and your partner each have a cup. If you're at home, you can find any little cup that has a nice big circle at the bottom of it. And I picked some throwaway cups for us in our classroom, just because then we can throw them away if we mark on them. But you could use a cup, you probably won't write on it a whole lot. And you're going to trace a circle for me. So you're going to, and let me show you. You are going to take this piece of paper and you're going to put this cup, and I'm going to put it to the side so I can use this paper for another circle later on, because you're going to need it. And I'm going to trace around the outside. Okay? Once I do that, you can see that I have a very faint circle on there. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut my circle out. Now this requires some very neat second grade cutting, because you want that circle to be just right. So take a few moments and I want you to trace. And partners, you guys can help each other. Okay, kiddos at home, you can have a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grown-up, whoever, and help you do this if you'd like, so that you have a circle. And when you are ready, I want you to hold that circle up in front of your tummy. You guys are awesome at this. What do you notice about this circle right here? Has it been divided or partitioned yet? Or is it a whole? When these are put together, they are whole, right? This is half and half. Part 1, part 2. Together they make a whole. Is this divided yet, or is it a whole? It's a whole. Can I have you see if you can divide your circle in half or into 2 equal parts? And hold it up in front of your tummy when you have that done. Oh, very nice. I'm going to trace my line just so I can see it a little bit easier. And you are welcome to do the same thing with your pencils, because it might make it easier to cut it in just a bit. Because when we cut it, we can really prove it. This side, this side. Is it in half? Let's peek. Let's prove it. If you're with a partner or with a grown-up, I want you to tell them whether we cut it in half or not, into 2 equal parts. I just heard somebody say, yes, it's equal. Tell us why it's equal. Because when we cut them, they fit right on top of each other. Absolutely. There's no overlap. There's no overhang. They fit perfectly on top of each other. They are halves. They are equals. 2 equal parts. Is there any other way we can divide this circle? Some say yes, some say no. Can I show you a couple of choices? And you see if you think it's divided equally. We'll put a green check if it is, And if it's not, we're going to put a thumb down. I'm going to show you a couple different shapes. Are you ready? I'm going to show you a rectangle first. Yes or no? Tell me why no. This is smaller than this. So they're what? There's two parts, right? They're not equal. What about this guy right here? Why not? Two parts? Are they equal? They're not equal. Well, can we put a green check on? We can put a green check on this one. We can put a green check on that one. We can put a green check on this one. And this one. Tell your partner in about 2 seconds or so, or a grown-up, why are these divided equally into two parts and these not? Just restating what we talked about. Wonderful. I'm going to have you practice a few more of these. So on a piece of paper, I've got a bunch of rectangles and circles, and I want you to show me how you can divide them into two equal parts. You're going to have some time. Make sure that they're the same size, and use your little pieces to help you. Happy partitioning!